Guys, my name is Casey, and I just want to let you know that today's industrialized society that is rapidly evolving due to globalization and digitalization is still surrounded by organizational issues that are pertaining to discrimination or discernment at workplaces, a complex phenomenon that has significant repercussions on the victimized individual. Some authors have also illustrated in their article that the consequences of discrimination can alter the dynamics of both the individual and the organization. In order to assist the victimized employees and help an organization change their corporate culture or mindset, an innovative and sustainable mechanism needs to be implemented, which I'll be discussing in the next few slides. Discrimination at workplace has the ability to deteriorate an individual's mental well-being drastically. The ramifications of discernment within an organization's corporate culture can lead to traumatic psychological health issues such as amplified aggression, acute depression, and severe suicidal tendencies. Research-based evidence also exemplifies the fact that there is an increased risk of psychiatric disorders due to discriminatory practices. A discriminated employee could be perceived as a vulnerable individual whose self-esteem and self-confidence is usually diminished. A pioneering solution that can be offered to such affected employees within various institutions is the e-mentoring program. Although virtual mentoring has been part of the digitalized organizational community for a while, the program that I intend to offer would see mentors from different organizations help victimized employees via the electronic platform. This would result in both the mentors and mentee being unknown to each other. A discriminated employee would usually find it enormously difficult and uncomfortable to reveal their experiences to another entity. With the aid of my solution, concealing personal characteristics and building a trustful relationship would be more possible without being felt judged for the victimized individual. In addition, I would offer the e-mentoring program services to individuals as packages that would have different features and price points. To further elaborate, Tier 1 e-mentoring program, which would be the cheapest as compared to the other service tiers, would provide individuals with one mentoring session per week. In contrast, a Tier 2 program would have multiple mentoring sessions within a week, although a bit pricier. Some authors also mention in an article that packaging services can provide unparalleled benefits for a business. Providing the service of e-mentoring to individuals that have endured discriminatory practices or are subject to such practices is enormously beneficial at both the human level and as a business proposition. Fundamentally, offering assistance to disadvantaged personnel is an ethical obligation for a business that is concerned about the betterment of the industrialized society. The e-mentoring program that I intend to offer can benefit individuals that are reluctant to share their experiences to individuals within the same organization due to the sensitivity of the issue. Evidence based on research illustrates that there is an amplified likelihood of disadvantaged employees being treated poorly in the face-to-face mentoring sessions conducted within the organization. Statistics also depict that an astounding 92% of complaints lodged by individuals to the Australian Human Rights Commission in the year 2018 to 2019 was based on some form of discrimination endured. This particular statistic does portray that there is a segment of population that would benefit from the e-mentoring program, which indeed can be perceived as a business opportunity. In addition, all the unprecedented scenarios caused by the coronavirus pandemic has affected organizations all around the globe due to governmental regulations and lockdowns that have been in effect for a lengthy duration. Businesses have resorted to the work-from-home strategy, which has resulted in employees adopting the electronic platform to perform their duties. Capitalizing on this situation, the e-mentoring program can be seen as a humongous business opportunity as people are unable to resort to traditional mentoring programs to access support. Lastly, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic has been quite significant in relation to an employee's mental health. The results from a research conducted demonstrate that stigma and social exclusion are some of the stresses amongst many that employees have faced during the pandemic. These stresses are considerably higher, especially for those individuals that have discriminatory issues. This also suggests that the e-mentoring is a very viable and feasible business opportunity, especially during such tough times when people are isolated and are more vulnerable. To sustain a competitive advantage in today's globalized marketplace, it is fundamentally critical for an entrepreneur to possess certain skills. One such skill is that of design thinking, an analytic and creative process of experimenting with opportunities, creating and prototyping frameworks, gathering feedback, and redesigning the framework if necessary. To generate the business idea in relation to the e-mentoring program, the design thinking process model was quite helpful. Mentioned is a brief description of the steps that were involved at each phase throughout the design thinking process. Step 1 was understanding, which endured collecting existing information on the solutions that were previously offered or implemented to help discriminated employees at workplace. This was done through conducting secondary research, which involved gathering published material on the issue that needs a solution. It is also critical to understand what the issue that needs to be solved is and how it can be solved. Step 2 was observing, which endured gathering insights on what the discriminated employees need to help them battle through such practices. Qualitative research such as interviews and focus groups was conducted. Surveying of employees from different organizations was also done. Step 3 is point of view. Bringing the team members of the e-mentoring project together and exchanging the research results, clustering and condensing the insights from the research conducted to identify the pain points of the discriminated employees, and analyzing the needs of the target audience in much more detail and depth. Now, step 4 is ideate. which involves generating brainstorming questions that addresses the problem that discriminated employees face, generating possible ideas that can be offered as a solution to the discriminated employees, and clustering the ideas and exchanging ideas with the team members that is working on the said project. On the basis of voting amongst all the team members, developing one further idea if the initial idea such as that of e-mentoring fails was also done. Now, the fifth stage is prototype. This is a representation of the concept that was generated. In this case, the prototype would be the basic e-mentoring program that is facilitated by one industry expert. Step 6 was testing. Testing the basic e-mentoring program within the organization that I currently work for, offering the program to close contacts that have faced discriminatory issues in the past, and documenting all the reviews and feedback that is attained after the testing phase of the e-mentoring program. Other design thinking methods that were utilized were personas. This design thinking method was used to help identify the needs and desires of the discriminated employees. By adopting such a method, we obtain information from the target audience who are the employees on what they require to battle such discriminatory practices at a workplace environment. Stakeholder map was utilized, a tool that was utilized to get a visual representation of the stakeholders that would be involved in the service offering of the e-mentoring program. This tool was quite beneficial as it provided us with both the human and business perspective. Customer journey map was also utilized. With the aid of this tool, a collection of touch points from the beginning to end of the service delivery could be mapped out. The course of developing the business idea in relation to the e-mentoring marketing program service was achieved by conquering certain stages of the venture idea development process. The potential target audience, in our case employees that have faced discriminatory practices, were also spoken to throughout the entire process. The venture idea development process comprises of two stages, pre-commercialization and commercialization. During the business opportunity phase, in order to attain more information in regards to the discrimination that occurs within workplaces, I spoke with my colleagues both from the organization that I currently work for as well as the previous one. The individuals I spoke to were of different racial, ethnic, cultural background who gave me further insights into their experiences whilst enduring discrimination within the corporate culture. In addition, I also requested my peers to obtain further information in regards to discrimination from their close contacts who work for other organizations. Sources such as potential market surveys of employees conducted previously was also utilized to identify the business opportunity. Survey conducted of the potential target market, which is the Australian workforce, depicts that 82% of respondents acknowledge discrimination within the organization. Growing concerns in regards to amplified discriminatory practices within organizations meant that there was a business opportunity to solve this problem by developing an innovative venture idea. The generation of the idea, which was offering an e-mentoring program, was developed after conducting certain focus group sessions with employees within my current organization. The individuals within the focus group were of varying ages, gender, culture background, and held different positions within the organization. Despite the sample size being small, it gave me an indication on the benefits that the target audience, which is the discriminated employees, would obtain by providing them with an e-mentoring program service. Based on the suggestions received from the employees during the focus group and also based on evidence-based research, an e-mentoring program service idea was developed, wherein mentors were industry experts from different organizations unknown to the mentee in question. This would allow victimized employees of discrimination to share their experiences more freely, fluidly, and openly without being felt uncomfortable and judged. In addition, research has exemplified that e-mentoring is a cost-effective way to assist employees at workplace by also sustaining distance training. E-mentoring is especially effective during the global pandemic caused by coronavirus, as most of the people were working from home. The final business idea was offering an e-mentoring program service with mentors and mentees coming from different organizations and also packaging the e-mentoring program in different tiers, as employees have varying requirements due to discriminatory practices endured. In regards to finalizing the business idea, survey was rolled out to employees both within my current and previous organization to gather primary data. The findings that were discovered through the development of the venture idea were as follows. Finding 1. The results from the focus groups conducted and the surveys that were rolled out depict the fact that providing an e-mentoring program wherein the mentors and mentee are from different organizations is largely accepted within the potential target market. The reason being, employees feel as if they can overcome certain social barriers that are not possible with the traditional mentoring and common e-mentoring programs. Some authors have also mentioned in an article that e-mentoring does provide the ability for individuals to cross boundaries in relation to age, gender, race, and social hierarchy. The second finding was that a sample of the potential target audience who are employees that did endure discriminatory practices previously has stated that they are concerned with the privacy issues that come with e-mentoring programs. The reason being, sensitive topics such as discrimination is being discussed over the electronic platform. This can be overcome as we would be supplying brochures to our users when they sign up for our e-mentoring program services that would detail how we conduct our mentoring programs and also a brief introduction on all of our mentors. The third finding was that the employees that were part of the focus group discussion also mentioned that they would like to attain the ability to connect with their mentors via different platforms. Hence, our e-mentoring program service would offer users with varying interfaces to communicate such as Skype, Link, WebEx, even messaging and calls through WhatsApp. The fourth finding was that building interpersonal trust is also a facet that the potential target audience sample is concerned with in regards to the e-mentoring program service. Our e-mentoring service programs has varying packages that give users more time and sessions with the mentors, which would result in the developing of a strong bond of trust between the mentor and the mentee. A minimum viable product in our case relates to the most basic e-mentoring program service package that has just the enough features to satisfy our early customers who are the disgruntled employees. As a business, this will provide us with the sufficient feedback to improve our products and services in the future. There are three main goals that can be attained by developing a minimum viable product, which I mentioned. The first one is building a simplified version of our e-mentoring program service. This would be a faster process to build the prototype. Secondly, this would allow us to measure how the e-mentoring program performs with sales or feedback. And thirdly, learning what people like or don't like about our e-mentoring program service before spending a lot of time and money on full development. As an aspiring entrepreneur who is commencing into the market with an innovative service, a landing page can also be utilized to build interest in a service. It is quite an affordable method to promote the minimum viable product, which is a basic e-mentoring program service to our customers. Some authors also exemplify that a landing page will allow the business to communicate the service being offered, which is the e-mentoring program service in our case. Potential users who are the employees enduring discretion can sign up for the e-mentoring program service and also provide any essential feedback. The landing page is a very budget-friendly mechanism to promote the minimum viable product of the e-mentoring program service. The links of the landing page could be sent to employees within my current organization by the email database, which is easily accessible. As the topic of discretion is quite sensitive, sending a link by an email would keep the matter more confidential. The main advantage of using a landing page is getting an initial contact list of the customers who are employees in our case. Lastly, this would be our lean business canvas. The first is the problem, which is how to battle discriminatory practice at work, how to increase one's self-confidence when dealing with other people at work, and how to cope with work stress. The solution would be our e-mentoring program, where mentors are not from the same organization as the employees, providing different e-mentoring packages for different needs and mentoring conducted through electronic interfaces. The unique value proposition of our business is that mentoring would be made more comfortable as both mentee and the mentor are unknown to each other. It's also a convenient way to access support without meeting the person. The unfair advantage that we would have as a business would be an access to an existing contact base of customers who are employees of my current and previous organization. The customer segments that we would be targeting are employees of different cultural, racial, ethnic background, female employees, organizations that want to instill an e-mentoring program, and employees who have endured discriminatory practices. Existing alternatives at this stage are traditional face-to-face mentoring programs and common e-mentoring program wherein mentors and mentee are from the same organization. Key metrics that we will use to measure are satisfaction score of the mentees who are the users of the program, retention rate of the users who are the employees, and learning and developing targets of the mentee. The channels or the lean marketing channels that we would be using are the landing page link sent to users via emails to sign up for the program, social media channels such as Facebook and Instagram to promote the service. And the early adopters of our service would be close contacts that have endured discriminatory practices at work and people that I personally know who are having work-related issues. Thank you guys for listening to my presentation.